Hello, today we are talking to the youth and we are going to talk about 7 things you should consider before entering into a relationship. And we are going to focus our talk from the book of Kelly Geoffrey, Before I Do. And I will have the opening remarks, page 64, whereby he says, great care should be taken by Christian youth in the formation of friendships and in the choice of companions. Take heed lest what you now think to be pure gold turns out to be base metal. Worldly associations tend to place obstructions in the way of your service to God, and many souls are ruined by unhappy unions, either business or matrimonial, with those who can never elevate or enable. Weigh every sentiment and watch every development of character in the one with whom you think to link your life destiny. The step you are about to take is one of the most important in your life and should not be taken hastily. For you may love, do not love blindly. That is from the book of Ellen White, Adventist Home, that he wrote in 1952, page 45. Thank you so much. So, your choice of partner determines your future life and even your destiny to heaven. So my husband is going to tackle the seven points you ought to take before you enter into a relationship as we go on. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, dear viewers. We thank God for this opportunity again. I start straight away. A relationship is a very important thing that will affect our life here on earth and our life to come, especially the one that leads to marriage. Leave other relationship alone. The first important point is you need to consider outside there, which we did also consider, is spiritual compatibility. Marriage is, the originator is God, and you need to be compatible spiritually. And being spiritual compatibility, because it's a spiritual matter, it's not a physical matter. And that spiritual compatibility is very important. That's why we are reminded in the Bible, 1 Corinthians 6:14, that you should not be yoked with unbelievers. We are talking about character, not beauty, not handsome, but it's all about spiritual compatibility. Do you share the same faith? That's a question you should ask. Do you share the same interest about God? Do you believe in the same spiritual matters? Do you serve God with the same zeal? So you must be compatible spiritually. Very important point. And without that, the rest of the point we are going to discuss are null and void. So spirituality, compatibility is very important, which is the foundation of all the considerations. As you have something to add on the same?
Yeah, sure. You must look at the religion. You are a Christian, get married to a Christian. You cannot get married to a Muslim. You will bring so many confusion in your life, especially when in future you have kids. What choice will your kids be doing? And then the zeal for Christ. You should look upon the zeal this young lady or this young man has, so that when you have that time together, time for devotion and time for service for God, you all do it together. So spiritual compatibility is very nice, so that you should not stretch yourself and have that pull and push force within you.
Thank you. Number 2 is about age. Age is a very important factor. It's advisable to marry someone of the age group, the age bracket, because you will share some interest, children will be happy, you'll be thinking the same way. But this gap, the biggest gap in age, sometimes it may not work well, because the moment the one will grow older, the other one is still energetic, and they may not combine efforts. And many times people prefer an older man and a young woman. Biblically, we can also argue Adam came first before Eve. So we need to consider this age practical, but above all, what we are emphasizing still is spiritual compatibility. After you have considered that, then age comes in. Difference of 2 age, 5, it's not bad, but it's not a principle. But the age bracket is very important. If you have something on age matter.
Yeah, age should not be neglected. You should take that in consideration. When you have kids, you need to have that vigor and that strength to provide for them. So if one of you is much older and you're younger, it means that the person will tend to leave you the whole responsibility of doing that. So you should keep in mind your children. You should train them, you bring up them, the two of you, both of you, when you are all energetic. So an age is very important factor when you are having a family.
Thank you. Cultural difference, very important. Our culture defines how we behave, what we believe on issues of how we relate with one another, society, ethnic groups, etc. So we can't ignore it, but still I'll go back to our first point. Spiritual compatibility outshine everything. We have different culture, and if you're serious about culture issue, in the biblical, the denominator is the biblical culture should outshine all other cultures that are against the Bible. So let us not bring our own cultures to the relationship. If you are not able, for those who are not Christian, I counsel you, it's better you go for your own culture. But if you are a Christian, consider this thing of cultural difference to bring into your attention that biblical culture should outshine all other cultures. So the Bible should take over. That's all I have about cultural differences. Let's have something on the same.
Yeah, you should mark on that because you know culture blends as well, and when you bring someone of another culture you tend to learn more. But when you know God, you will blend very well because they'll tend to bring their maybe foods, maybe how they live, and that will help you. But when God is first and paramount, the culture will grow on well and you'll tend to be joyful in that relationship. But when God is not in it, then culture will bring so many things that we don't believe, and that will strain the relationship. So culture is a very important factor to consider.
Thank you. Next point, number 4, we talk about education background. Nowadays, we define many things about education. You see friends, people who are in the same groups, people, you just find yourself some level of education, they are reasoned the same way, they are planning things in the same way. To avoid inferiority, to avoid some other ideas that may come up because you are sharing with different education background, it's advisable we consider friendship of people of the same education background, if possible, to avoid all those other things. But still back to our first point, if you are converted, the spiritual compatibility, it will outshine this. But very important to avoid many challenges in the relationship, the same education level can do us better. Thank you.
Yeah, that is true. So you should also consider the education state of your partner. Let God guide you. The other one will uplift who is down in education when God is in it. But when God is not in it, it will bring so much trouble. But it is okay to get married to the person where you have the same education status, so that it cannot bring problem in future, maybe in your social relationship with others and etc. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But we are not trying to tell you that if you have someone higher, it's not bad. But whatever it is, please try to consider. Next point is personality. Personality is how we have extroverts, we have introverts, and it's very important to avoid competition. If all of you are extroverts, it may bring a very big challenge. A partner covers someone else's weaknesses. An introvert will be able to calm down an extrovert. Extrovert will be able to speak on behalf of the introvert. So it's good to blend. Personality is very important, but we should not allow our personality to control us. We allow God to control our personality, but it's nice to consider that on personality matter.
Yeah, on personality, you should also learn your partner. You should also understand your partner. You should be able to adjust. There are some things that you don't like. They are right, but you don't like doing them. For example, you don't like being outdoors. You are an indoor person, and the other one is an outdoor person. So you should understand your partner and have that 50 to 50. You should agree on what you're doing. So you should understand your partner's personality. It is very important. You put it into consideration, and you know the kind of person you want to get married to.
Thank you. Number 6, family background, very important. I know you have sometimes background may not be wise, but those parents who are bringing up children, if there's love at home, it will be exposed to also these children when they get married. If there's peace at home, it will also be, it's an automatic thing to these children. But for family background, it's very important not to judge this person. You can't judge people because where he's born from. But God's grace is always sufficient. But for parents, make sure you provide a conducive environment so that the family background may be favorable enough for these children when they get out of their family to get married. So very important, learn the family background so that in the future if something happens, you understand it may be inherited from the family, and know how the best you can help your partner If you have something in family background, before you go to the last point.
We are two different people coming together, so we come from two different families. The way the other person was brought up is not the same way you are brought up. So you will tend to understand how his family works and also how your family works, so that you can blend together also and bring out your kids the best way possible. Not the wife saying, you know, I was brought up this way, and the husband saying, I was brought up this way. You blend the two, and then you bring a hybrid of character, your own family. Remember that even the family also matters, because they will be coming to visit you. So you will understand how their parents are, how their siblings are, and other relatives. So it is very important to understand the family background of a person you're getting married to. The family background also, we have what we call genes. There are some diseases that are there in the family. So you'll tend to understand that this is there, and you're prepared to face that in the future, maybe inheritance, in the family. So when it happens, you don't point out fingers to someone and then it becomes a blame game.
Lastly, we are talking about the past relationship. Very important, friends. We need to consider how past relationship was. Reason is this: if it was an unresolved issue in the past relationship, it has to be carried on to the next. Maybe the spouse has to correct. Otherwise, this partner will be thinking of the past relationship and comparing. There's just a good example. There's a lady who met a gent. He didn't ask about past relationship, and this lady was in love. What he wanted is a good man, all the qualities he has, but he never considered about past relationship. And this made it for this person to discover after some time, this is a married man, and it really disappointed the lady. So it's very important to look at past family relationship. And I think may God help us that we may look at it objectively, not to attack the past person. You say, oh, no wonder. No. We are looking at it so that we can help one another to come out of it. But handle your past relationship issue first. That's all about number 7. Maybe before my wife says, I'll have a statement on what's very important for you to summary of it all. As children of God, I love reading from my favorite writer, Colin G. White. There's something that you should ask yourself. The person you're going to be together with, will she bring a happy home? That's number 1. Or he? Is she an economist? Or will she, if married, not only use all your earnings, but all yours, apart from hers, to create for her vanity? A love of appearance is the principle. Are her principle correct in this direction? Has she anything now to depend upon? You must have something, even a lady, even a gent. You can't just start a family to build on it, and there's nothing that you're going to feed on your children and yourself. I know many of us are infatuated with thoughts and a love which is not true. Let's be able to consider these issues. Will you be happy? Will you enjoy her company? Will you be happy to mention her always or him? That's very important. Back to you. I want to wish all the youth out there, we are praying for you, all the best as you consider these factors.
Yeah, on the point of past relationships, you have to explain to your partner how your past relationship was. How ugly it may have been, or bad or good. It is good to explain so that you deal with the past pain that you have. You deal with the brokenness that you have, so that you cannot carry it over to the relationship that you are having, or you start the comparing game, the comparison game, which is very bad. All the youth outside there, God has designed marriage to work out his plan for salvation. So you should choose the best partner. You know, the plan of salvation begins in the family. When the family is destroyed, then the whole society will be rotten. Thank you, and continue watching and subscribing for more videos. God bless you.